Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Cle de Peau Radiant Sky collection. You can see the packaging on this is really beautiful. This is just the box and it's so pretty. So we have I picked up pretty much the entire collection. You can see the luminizers here. You've got still your 3D packaging with constellations here. And it is just stunning. The lipstick cases are gorgeous. This is the eyeshadow palette. And just like other eyeshadow palettes from Cle de Peau, you can actually, just a little trouble there, but these pans are removable. So you can reuse this case with the other Cle de Peau eyeshadows. You can purchase the refills separately and so forth. So if you are just in love with the packaging, just know that right now, when you purchase this, it does come with these shadows, but when you use those up, you can mix and match them with any of the refills that are available from Cle de Peau. Let me show you the lipstick cases. They are really beautiful. So they are dual-sided. So we've got one side here. This is actually the back of it. You can see it's midnight blue with these golden stars. The sides, just like the new Cle de Peau lipsticks, you've got kind of the gold beveled edges. And then this is the front with the constellation design on here. And you can twist the caps. So, you know, it's like a little bit of a mix and match. So if you've got a couple shades, you can keep one where the lid and the bottom are different to help differentiate without looking. But I wanted to bring your attention here to the actual tube that the bullet's in. I mean, look at this star design on here. It's beautiful. I think that's a detail a lot of people don't necessarily notice. The bullets on Cle de Peau lipsticks they're probably my favorite bullet shape because you've got this beautiful curvature. It fits your lip really well. It's easy to kind of be like a little bit more precise and get smaller areas. I just find it very comfortable. I think Cle de Peau really excels at the shapes of their lipsticks and their lipstick wands, along with the formulas, of course. But I feel like the shapes of those items are like the best. So in this collection, we have 2 luminizers. We have 4 lipsticks, so 2 matte and 2 satins that are full size. Plus there's a set of mini lipsticks, and there are 5 mini lipsticks in there. I actually have 3 of the 5 shades already. This is last year's set, so I have a couple in there and one of the permanent shades. But if you've been interested in trying the new Cle de Peau lipsticks, I think the mini set is a great way to go. So I will be going ahead and swatching the shades that I have, the 3 of the 5 from the mini set as well. We've got a lot of comparisons. And just so you know, department stores do carry the Cle de Peau holiday collection, but there are certain items that are exclusive only to the Cle de Peau website. Exclusive to Cle de Peau is one of the luminizers. It's the shade 104 and it's really beautiful, but you can only get that from the Cle de Peau website. The other shade is available on department store sites as well. And 2 of the 4 full-size lipsticks are also only available at Cle de Peau, and they go in and out of stock. So if you go and you look now and it's not there, just keep looking because they do usually restock. Sometimes there's always like 1 or 2 shades on Cle de Peau that, you know, just don't come back. So let's go ahead and move on to swatches. So let's start with the eyeshadow here. And this is number 322 Constellation of Stars. And it actually, the quad is considered quad N as in neutral. So you have a mirror here. It does come with little applicators. And it also comes with like a plastic tray on the top that you're supposed to keep. It's a little bit heavier duty than what you usually get from you know, these makeup palettes, but I just never keep it. So these are the 4 shades, and we're not going to really do a ton of comparisons or any comparisons really with this because unfortunately it is, you know, you're either going to get this one or you're not. But this palette here, you can see it's very soft. These are really soft in color and soft in texture on the eyes. They are very, very beautiful. So you have kind of this soft golden shimmer. This is opaque enough that you can use it on your lid if you want something really light, but it is sheer enough that you can use it as a topper. Then you have all of these 3 here are more like satin matte type, with the deepest shade being more matte than the other 2. You have this peach, You have, this actually is like a deep eggplant purple with a little bit more pink in it than usual. So it's almost like a plum red. And then we have this sort of like sea green, kind of like sea glass green. So I think it's a really beautiful quad. One thing I wanted to mention is, and you'll see this in the first demo, this did have gold stars embossed on top. Well, not embossed, it's just like just a little powder essentially on top. That was so pretty, but it does go away as soon as you touch it. Like literally as soon as you touch it, it's gone. Moving on to the highlighters, and they do come with a little brush here as well as the plastic cover. This is 104 Radiant Superstar. This is the one that is exclusive to the Cle de Peau website. And let's go ahead and make kind of a bigger swatch here so you can kind of see how that goes. And you can see how beautiful and shimmery this is. This is going to be almost more of a soft peachy shimmer on the skin. And we're going to leave a little space before going to the next one for some comparisons in a bit. But this one here is 105 Shimmering Orb. And at first glance, this might look like the regular lavender or something like that, but it's really not. One thing I do want to note is these do come with an overspray on top. The overspray is removed here, so I'm not showing the overspray. This is how sparkly it is without the overspray. So you can see that this, although it's going to be kind of a soft, shimmery, more of like a lavender kind of shade, it's not completely going to be a cool lavender. A lot of times those lavender highlighters have more blue tones, more white tones. This, you can see you have a big swatch of peach here, and this white is actually more of a white gold. So it warms it up a little bit, making it more useful for warmer skin tones as well. Let's go ahead and swatch the mini shades. So in the mini set, again, we have 5 shades. We have this one here, which is Legend of Rouge. And I'm just going to put these on my hand here. So Legend of Rouge. Then there's a shade called Pink Honeysuckle, which I do not have, as well as Uncompromising Coral. So those are the 2 I don't have. We also have Camellia, which is one of the classic Cle de Peau shades. It's a really beautiful, kind of like a peachy rosewood kind of shade. I think it's a really great shade and it's pretty unique compared to like other brands and so forth. So I think it's one of the like Cle de Peau it shades. And then I purchased the full size of this one actually before they came out with the mini set, but this is number 11, Triumphant Tawny. So you can purchase this in the permanent line as well. And oh wow, look at that, it looks so pretty. So let's take a look at this one. There we go. So you can see it's going to be nude with a touch of peach. So this is going to be the 3 shades in the mini lipstick set. Let's take a look at the shades in the actual full sizes. So we have 520 Heavenly Pink. This is going to be a matte shade. And let's go ahead and put that one right here. So that's there. You can see this is going to be a nice peach, kind of like full-fledged peach. This is 521 Starlight Pink, and that is your bright pop of pink. I mean, look at that. So there's a little bit of blue in the base here, and it's one of those like milkier pinks. Then we go on to, by the way, that is a satin. Then we go on to 522 Cosmic Red. This is another satin shade. And you can see, although it's called red, it's really more of a peachy coral. So it's like a soft muted red, but it has like that peach in there, making it more of a deep burnt coral. So I think it's a really unique shade. What's on my lips right now is actually my favorite. This is 523 Stellar Red, and this is the matte. If you're not familiar with Cle de Peau mattes, they are creamy mattes, so they never get completely that like dry look on your lips. They'll get matte with a little bit less shine, but there's always going to be a little bit of light reflection, and they never completely dry down, so you have that dry feeling. So they're really, really comfortable. So this is Stellar Red, and yeah, I have to say I love it. So these 4 shades in the full sizes, these are limited edition shades, whereas the shades in the mini are shades that are in the permanent line. So let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. Again, this eyeshadow palette is called 322 Constellation of Stars. And this is a beautiful quad. As I mentioned, you can remove the quad to use the case with another refill. Usually when you have removable palettes, you have a little like pinpoint on the back and you push that through. That's not so with Cle de Peau. This is in a plastic pan that snaps in. So you actually lift it up from the inside of the palette. You can lift up that pan and then you can just snap a new one in. And this does fit the refill shades for the eyeshadows. So I think that's really great. Now, moving on to the actual formulas of these, if you're familiar with Cle de Peau shadows, these are kind of your soft powder formula and they blend out very beautifully. And you've got just a little hint of sheen in the satins. They're not going to be super, you know, they don't have like a high shine or anything like certain satins can in other brands. These are all going to be soft and sophisticated. The matte, again, is still going to have a tiny touch of radiance, but not quite as much as the satins. And then our gold shade, the shimmer, is going to be a soft shimmer, probably, you know, about as sparkly as you have in the luminizers, but the actual like radiant particles in the base are different. It's more of a satin with those shimmer particles. So overall, I have to say this palette is gorgeous, and I have been wearing this palette, you know, I placed 2 orders to get this. So I got the palette was the first thing I got. I've been wearing it for at least a week now, and I absolutely love it. So I only have 2 eye looks here today because unfortunately I forgot to record a couple of times, but I absolutely love it. These shades blend out so well. I personally think the peach is great as a crease shade. The deep kind of like reddish base purple is gorgeous to deepen things out. And I love this minty green. And depending on what kind of brush you use with this minty green, you can get just a really soft pale hint of green if you use something fluffier, or you can build it up if you use something more dense or more like a flat shader style. And you can also use these wet. They work wet, but you know, they're not ideal wet in my opinion. The shimmer golden champagne shade is great. I think if you put this on with your finger on top of the eyeshadows, you really see a lot more opacity. So it will kind of obscure some of the color underneath if you're using as a topper. But if you use kind of a fluffy brush, you'll just get a little tiny bit of that scattered starlight effect. And this also works really well in the inner corner. So at first glance, you might think these shades don't look like they're gonna work so well together. I was a little unsure about this quad when I first saw the promo photos, but I absolutely love it together. And I think it just really creates these soft, sophisticated neutrals, and that green gives a nice pop of color that is a little bit different than what you usually see. And I like the peach and the purple because although you've got warm, you've got those pink tones that are so popular, they're not that pink. So they actually work better, in my opinion, as neutrals than a lot of similar looking, you know, pinks and peaches and so forth on the market right now. So I have to say the palette is a win for me. I absolutely love it. Moving on to the luminizers. The luminizers, again, these actually have refill pans as well. These pans, however, are magnetic, and the packaging for these do fit the luminizers on the market. They are the same size pans, the same shape and so forth, but these will be removed using like a pin or something to poke through with a hole in the back. So a slightly different removal process from the eyeshadow pans. And I have to say, I really like both of these. When I first saw them, I thought perhaps the 105 Shimmering Orb shade looked very much like the purple, but it does not in person. We will go ahead and do a comparison of that, but they actually do end up looking very different. And the 104, which is the one exclusive to the Cle de Peau website, you know, that like peachy pink and gold and so forth just gives the most delicious warmth to the skin without being overly warm or gold or so forth. I feel like a lot of times those warmer highlighters really give you more gold. And this is very subtle. It's really going to be much more peach, but more of a natural peach. One of the great things about these luminizers, and if you haven't used these before, they're very versatile. So you can use these as your traditional highlighter. You can build it up and get it to be more of a blinding shine to it, sheen. But you can also use these more subtly. You can use these as a base underneath a blush to totally transform that blush into something shimmery. And that's actually how I have it on today. You'll see in this last demo here. I wanted to show you what both of the highlighters look like on the cheek on their own, so you weren't seeing any other colors potentially mixed in with those, so you could really see the hue of the highlighter. And I built that up to 2 layers, so it was kind of bright. So I wanted to be sure that you could see the differences in the shades of those two on the skin. But I did put blush on top of it, and you can see it turns into a very radiant blush. And I've actually worn them that way several times, not just with these holiday highlighters, but with the ones in the permanent line. So we're going to compare these to those in the permanent line and some previous holiday highlighters as well. They've got some great ones. Again, these two shades in particular, 104 and 105, are limited edition, and 104 is exclusive to the Cle de Peau website. Moving on to the lipsticks, I absolutely love these cases. Like, I seriously, like, the constellation side I think is beautiful, but for me, my favorite side is actually the back with that dark blue and the gold stars and kind of that more light blue like line going through it, like a shooting star trail and so forth. I absolutely love them. The new Cle de Peau lipsticks, I really love the formulas. I wouldn't say they're super different from the previous formulations, but I think they are slightly more comfortable, and I really like them. So I have to say, I'm really enjoying all 4 of these shades, but the 2 that I've been reaching for the most would be the 523 Stellar Red in the matte, and actually the other matte too, the Heavenly Peach, which is 520. And usually I gravitate more towards the satins, even in the Cle de Peau line. But these particular shades are ones that I really like. So a little bit about these. These are made in Japan. And by the way, all of these Cle de Peau items are made in Japan. And if you're unaware, Cle de Peau is actually part of the Shiseido family, which is a Japanese brand. So everything from Cle de Peau is made in Japan. And just for reference, the lipsticks here are actually going to have a 2-year shelf life, and they are 4 grams of product. So that's a decent size for a lipstick. A lot of the more recent ones that have been coming out have been smaller in volume or product amount there. The luminizers, by the way, are 10 grams, and they have a 2-year shelf life as well. The eyeshadow also 2 years, and that's 4.5 grams. So overall, you're getting decent sizes for everything. The eyeshadow might be a little small. The pans are a little narrow and so forth. But overall, I think the collection is gorgeous, and I think everything is very high quality, very well done. The whole color story and concept of this collection was incredibly well thought out, and everything just goes so well together. All of these lipstick shades look beautiful with the eyeshadow. The highlighters work well on a variety of skin tones, and they are all beautiful. So I have to say, there's absolutely nothing that I don't love in this collection. Let's move on to some comparisons. All right, so we're going to start off with the luminizers. We're actually not going to swatch any comparisons of the eyeshadow palette. I think it's a gorgeous palette. I don't have any palette with the same color stories. The colors themselves, yes, you'll be able to find those in other palettes. But if you have them all in one palette, I'd love to see a palette that dupes it with the actual combination of shades. I don't have anything that dupes it. So again, you can mix and match shades from other things to get those similar colors, but that would be it. I wanted to show you, we've got the holiday here, 105 Shimmering Orb, with the permanent one, 17 Celestial Spark. And I wanted to show you what they look like. This 17 Celestial Sparks is the same as the older version of the luminizer in the lavender, which was also number 17. So if you have either of those, you can see how the Shimmering Orb compares. You can see it's a lot deeper. You've got a lot more peach in there. The colors themselves are a little bit more vibrant. So let's go ahead and swatch this one next to the Shimmering Orb. So we've got Shimmering Orb right down here. And you can see just how much more white and bright Celestial Sparks is in comparison. You can see a lot more of that peach in the shimmering orb. This one here is from a previous holiday collection. It's 101 Moon Shimmer. So you can see compared to shimmering orb, the difference here, we've got more like blue and a lighter peach. There's more, that purple there is more vibrant versus dustier in the orb. So let's see how this one compares here. And again, you're still going with kind of those whiter shades there. This one is going to be slightly warmer than 17 Celestial Sparks. Got a little bit more peach. That blue also kind of makes a difference there, but it's still going to be a little bit brighter, a little bit whiter than Shimmering Orb. And this is a holiday from last year. That actual collection really confused me. It looked really spring-like to me. But that's 103 Wonderful Radiance with 105 Shimmering Orb. So let's go ahead and compare that. Again, you can see this one has a lot of pink and blue, has a very little bit of kind of this cream shade, not truly a peach, but you can see this one here is going to be a little bit warmer. This one actually is less shimmery than these other two we swatched, and definitely less shimmery than the Shimmering Orb. I would have to say that these holiday highlighters, I definitely removed all of the overspray, but they still have a little bit more shimmer than the other highlighters, which I think is great for a holiday collection. So they are going to be a little bit more radiant. Let's take a look at the 104 shade and some comparisons. Oh, before we move on, let's take a look at this. This is Twilight's Glow. You can see this is not really going to look like either of them in the pan. We're going to put this kind of right in between the two. So you can see this is going to give you more of like that soft pink glow. And it's definitely got more color than either of the holiday ones. But yeah, it's going to be different from anything here. But I did want to share that. This is one of the new permanent shades in the more intense variety. And I have to say, I love this one. Now for 104 Radiant Superstar, I actually only have one comparison. That is last year's. And this is another one of the holiday highlighters from last year. This is 102, Aglow with Wonder. You can see that they do look very, very different in the pan. This has a lot of yellow. It's got some pink. It has a little bit of red. Whereas this is going to give you more of those like burgundies and like kind of like this tan nude brown and some like not quite peach, but like a little bit more of a cream with a touch of peach. So let me go ahead and put that one right there. And you can see how much more color that is on the skin. This is one that I use all the time, but I can even wear this one as a very soft blush if I want like barely their color. So that's going to be the difference with 104 Radiant Superstar. I don't have a highlighter quite like this, so I really love it. Now, moving on, we are going to look at some comparisons for the lipsticks. And again, these four here are 520, 521, 522, and 523 in the full sizes. Those are the ones we're going to focus on for these three shades here. You know, those are part of the mini. And, you know, we're not really going to look at comparisons for that, but you can check out last year's Cle de Peau video if you're looking for more comparisons. And we're going to start off with the Gucci. This is the Rouge de Beauté in number 208. They met in Argentina. And I'm just going to put this one right down here. It's going to be a high shine, but you can see it's kind of this like corally shade. It's similar to the Heavenly Peach, but this is going to be a little bit more, has more orange in it than the Heavenly Peach. Also has a higher shine finish. To say this is a product that I've been using a lot as well. I think it's really, they're both really great colors. Perhaps this is why I've been reaching for this Heavenly Peach so much. It's really become a go-to shade for me. I wanted to take a look at, this is one of the Cle de Peau Shine Lipsticks. So this is 311 Powerhouse Pink. I wanted to take a look at that with the pink shade 521, and you can see here that they're both going to be these cool pink shades, but this doesn't have as much blue. This is actually going to be one of the shimmer lip products. So what is it? They don't have the, yeah, it just says lipstick shimmer on here, but you can see this one has sparkle. They're going to be fairly similar, but this is going to be a warmer pink than what you get in 521. Now I'm wearing 523 Stellar Red, and I paired it with this lip pencil from Lisa Eldridge in blush. Just wanted to show you how well those match. So here's the lip pencil and blush with the lipstick, and you can see those colors. This is slightly more rose in it than the Stellar Red, but they're very, very close. So I thought we would take a look at the blush and Blush Lightly from Lisa Eldridge. So let's just put, I'm gonna go ahead and re-swatch. So here's blush, and here's Blush Lightly. So you can see those together. You can see Blush Lightly is going to be a bit more of a milkier shade than blush, in my opinion. Let me go ahead and re-swatch Stellar Red down there. And here's Stellar Red. So I think personally it goes best with the lip pencil, but this shade is kind of a mix in between blush and Blush Lightly, but it has a little bit more pink in it. Oh, another pink. This is Erisimum number 16 in the permanent line. Let's put this one right up here. And you can see how that goes with 521. This is, again, going to be a little bit warmer. It's got more rose versus like that bright blue base pink there. But this is one of my favorites in the new lipsticks. Let's take a look at some of the Burberry Kisses. This is 44 Rebellious Rose. This made me think of the Cosmic Red, but no, way more peach than that. Way too vibrant though to go with the Heavenly Pink, or Heavenly Peach. And this one here is 34 Matte Unicorn. Let me put that right there. So that's Matte Unicorn. Again, that's not really gonna go with any of those. This is the Givenchy Le Rouge Sheer Velvet in 39 Rouge Granate. So let me just go ahead and put this one right down here next to the Stellar Red. You can see this is going to be a little bit warmer than Stellar Red, but they are fairly similar in color. This is a bit more of one of those like blurring lipsticks. You know, it's going to give you kind of more of that fuzzy blurred look. So just something to note, and that's a sheer velvet, so you can put it on lightly or build it up. We also have another sheer velvet in 23, Rose Irresistible, and we're just going to put this one right here. Just wanted to see how that compared to the pink, but you can see it's significantly warmer. Not a match at all. This is one of the Dries Van Noten lipsticks. Unfortunately, you have to pull it out of the case to find the name. This is going to be the Satin in 90. And these are, in my opinion, some of the best lipsticks. But look at that. You can see that it really compares well to the Stellar Red. It's going to be a little bit deeper, has a little bit more rosewood in it. It's similar to blush, but it's going to be satin instead of velvet. So another Dries Van Noten. This is going to be a satin in 60. And let's go ahead and see how this one goes. I'm just going to squeeze this in right in between. You see right here. So it's warmer. Definitely going to be warmer than 521. It's a really beautiful color too, though. And then last up, we have two of the Chanel. These are the Rouge Allure L'Extraits. Again, you have to take these out as well to see the name. I wish companies would stop doing that. This is 814 Beige Imperio. And let's see how this compares. We're going to put this right up here next to the Heavenly Peach. And yeah, they're actually fairly similar. This has a little bit more orange actually than the Cle de Peau does. Considering one's considered beige and one's peach, I feel like the Chanel's peachier. But anyway, moving on to our last one here. This is 818 Rose Independent. And let's compare this down here with Stellar Red. So this one here, Stellar Red, you can see this is going to be warmer, pinker. Let's put it up here with the Cosmic Red, but no. It's going to go best with Stellar Red. And that's it for my lipstick comparisons. Overall, I have to say this collection is stunning. So far, one of my favorite holiday collections, not just this year, but you know, thinking back the last few years, this is probably one of my favorite ones that have come out in the past few years because I really think everything was done successfully. Everything's very cohesive. And I'm really happy with not just the colors, but also the quality of everything that has come out with this collection. So I really love this. And Yeah, I think this is a fantastic collection. So definitely, you know, if you are shopping for this, check the department stores for the shades you're interested in first, because you might be able to get like a sale or discount there. Cle de Peau, you might be able to get like a gift with purchase or something like that if you spend a certain amount, but you're not going to get those Cle de Peau exclusive shades anywhere else, and you're not really going to be able to get them on sale. However, I do believe if you are a first time buyer to the website, you can get $25 off your order. So I'll leave all the purchasing information down below in the description box for everywhere that I've seen it available. And yeah, let me know if you picked anything up, what you're interested in trying, and I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you very soon. Have a wonderful day.